This NBA season is hotter than ever. With the East leading the league, it's a battleground every single night where contenders clash to score those worthy points and win the conference. And this brings us to the big question: which team will come out of the East Coast and represent the East on the big stage? Everyone out there knows about the fierce competition, but who do you think is going to take the win home in 2024? Hello and welcome back to NBA Swish. Today we're going to answer one of the most intriguing questions that's haunting every NBA fan right now. Even those who are supporting the teams that are leading the points chart are confused. There's winning the conference, and then there's the playoff spot for which the teams are contending with each other. So which one is it gonna be? Stick around till the end and find out. Before diving into this topic, I gotta tell you that these predictions that I'm gonna share are just a guess based on the current performance and standing evaluation. No one can fully predict the exact outcome until it happens. And you might be wondering, why is that? The answer is simple: it's humans out there, and the point difference between the teams is slim. One man down in the game can mean a disaster for the whole team and crush the rankings that they've pulled so far. So even if I tell you today that a certain team is going back home with a conference win under their name, do remember that it takes less than a quarter for the tables to turn. Now that we're clear on all fronts, let's get into the real talk. Let's start with the favorite and the runner-up to last year's conference, the Boston Celtics. The Green Machine is really hungry for a win, and it shows in their gameplay on the court. With the dynamic duo of Tatum and Brown leading the team, it's a world-class watch. For starters, their consistency has been the most rewarding element for the team in such a cutthroat Eastern Conference. And that's not it, because the Celtics have gotten Pritchard and White, who have the defensive IQ needed to be the backbone of the team. They have the size, experience, and championship pedigree to help the Greens from Boston win the conference. And how can we forget their central element? And yes, you might have guessed that right, I'm talking about the unicorn himself, Kristaps Porzingis. He has been holding down that center position all season long. And if this team is together, it is nearly impossible for any other team to crush or surpass them. It's only reasonable to predict that the Celtics are going home with the ultimate prize. But as I said before, injury to any of those main players could turn the fate of the team. So fans, don't get overhyped. It's a long season. But still, under head coach Mazzulla's leadership, the Celtics will remain the favorites on the grid. Next up, we got the Bucks from Milwaukee. Currently holding the second position in the season standings with only a few points behind the champs from Boston, the Bucks have the firepower, the men, and honestly, the chance to ace this conference. With steady and unbreakable forces like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard on the roster, it's just a matter of time before the tides can be turned in their favor. Plus, with Middleton back up on his feet, the Bucks have become a brute force that anyone will have to beat to win this conference. Even though some might argue that Middleton is not a dependable force. No one can argue with the strength that Giannis holds that can help him carry the whole team to a win. And of course, we can't overshadow the supporting forces like Portis and Crowder to provide the perfect supporting cast. There is one area where the Bucks might need some buckling up, and that's their playoff struggles against the smaller teams. But under the supervision of great coaches like Griffin, it's only a bump in the road that'll soon get sorted. Now it's time for the Philadelphians. The 76ers are on fire this year, and they're one of the most promising contenders in the conference. Joel Embiid has been an unstoppable force throughout the season, and with clever assists from Maxey, this combo is giving a hard time to everyone on the court. And we can't forget Mo Bamba, who's been an absolute brute in the center. Indeed, the start for the 76ers wasn't perfect in the NBA sense. However, they've been among the favorites on the conference grid, and who wouldn't love to see them win the league and represent the East? I mean, with ammunition like Embiid, Maxey, Harris, Kelly Jr., Reed, and Batum, it's not far-fetched to see them take the win. There have been critics who have questioned the conditioning and the reliance of Embiid. However, he looks like a different animal this year. So, do you think the 76ers could win the conference? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, we've got some fierce competition. Two teams in the top 5 that are not only in cutthroat competition with one another, but are serious contenders for a conference win as well. If you guessed those names already, then I must say you're a true fan. And for everyone else, I'm talking about the Miami Heat and Orlando Magic. While Bam Adebayo's versatility, Tyler Hero's offensive explosiveness, and Jimmy Butler's tenaciousness have been the cornerstone of Miami's success, at the same time, Paolo Banchero has exploded onto the scene. Franz Wagner is a silent assassin, and Markelle Fultz has finally found his groove. The thing about this is, all of them are young, hungry, and playing with an infectious energy. Currently, both the Heat and the Magic have won 21 games each, and a win percentage of just over 58% at the time of recording this video. Now, these two underdogs have all of the capability and manpower to win the conference, but again, only one of these Florida teams is going to take the win home, and the other one's going to have to walk away in defeat. If you ask me, I believe the Heat have an edge over the Magic, but you never really know. Right now, both teams lag 7 wins behind the Celtics, but you never really can predict between the top 5 contenders. Now it's time for these serial underdogs, and yes, I'm talking about the Indiana Pacers, New York Knicks, and Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, when you're at positions below the top 5, even though the point margin on the standings grid is absolutely razor thin, still, you're not really looking to win the conference. And don't get me wrong here, every team that steps foot in the battleground of the playoffs has a chance to lift the trophy and return as winners. But when it comes to NBA conferences, the East feels more top-heavy of the two. Those at the top of the conference feel light years ahead of those even just a few spots down the rankings. So coming back to our underdogs, Brunson from the Knicks has a knack for putting on a good show, while Halliburton from the Pacers and Mitchell from the Cavaliers aren't very far behind. So again, anything could happen. I have a soft spot for these teams because I believe sometimes they put in a lot more effort, so maybe they deserve a win. And who doesn't like a good underdog story? Some critics like to put these kinds of teams into a feels funny about locking category, but honestly, all of these teams are worthy and deserving of a win. Obviously, it's very natural to develop a certain affinity towards a team, and that's called being a fan. But what matters is the fierce and deadly battleground that is set up by the NBA. All the teams come to one place to either win a title or in the playoffs. For this amazing season, the scoreboard tells us that the Celtics, Bucks, or the 76ers are the most promising contenders for the conference. But again, the game is so unpredictable that you cannot say which underdog might sweep the floor by the end of the season. So of course, it's fun to make predictions and enjoy some fun banter while discussing who might take the win home. At the end of the day, we can only hope that the team we love may win. But we as fans know that there's something even more rewarding than just our favorite team winning, and that's the energetic moments that we get to enjoy during the games. Actually, scratch that. There's nothing more rewarding than seeing your favorite team win at all. So which team are you rooting for to come out of the East and play on the big stage? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.